All right, story time. I'm gonna try and make this as quick as possible, um, for the sake of everyone's attention span. But listen, okay. Well, let's just put it this way. I'll make it as anonymous as I possibly can. Let's say I know somebody named. Let's just call him Jack, Jackie boy. All right, Jack. Jack got a house. And nobody really teaches you these things. These are there's a lot of things in life that are just trial and error, and I think a lot of it is like that because it's easy to capitalize on people who don't know any better. You could definitely rope them in and keep the money flowing and dupe people if they're not educated on things. I think it was really saying, man, I wish I remember the guy's name. I did know it off the top of my head, but knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. Damn, I should really know that guy's name. Yep, it's escaping me. I can't remember, but Douglas, Frederick fucking Douglass. I'm pretty sure that's who it was. Okay, brilliant mind. But anyway, back to Jackie Boy. When you go through school, you would think that if you're gonna raise upright, hardworking, good people, you're gonna have to educate them on how their body works, how to take care of themselves properly, how to treat other people. Okay, um, these are just like basic human things. I don't really understand why we don't go into how to be more self-sufficient, other than the fact that problems to create money, like if you just make things simple, you cannot capitalize on the rigmarole. You know what I'm saying? It sucks. It's like I said, it's very convoluted, and that's why I guess they say the devil is in the details. But I hope that didn't sidetrack you too much. But yeah, I really think that everybody. I've never worked in the food processing industry. I would imagine it's kind of abysmal, but it would help you if you had that life's experience, because at some point, with the way things are going, as crazy as the world is, these are good things to know. I didn't work in that industry, but I've definitely skinned and gutted some animals as a result of the people who have come before me passing me on that knowledge. you know some people don't know that stuff nowadays. I'm not an expert, I'm not a pro, but what I'm saying is all of these things, every job that I have had in my entire life has prepared me to be of service, to be stronger, to be smarter, to be more resilient in those aspects of life. And I think, like, you should teach people how to do their fucking taxes. You should teach people how to balance their bank book. Teach people how to be responsible and have integrity, or else you're just going to keep ending up with the same shit, and it's just going to get exponentially worse as the generations go by. I mean, I don't understand why it's so difficult for people to understand. But again, I apologize for getting on a side quest there. Jackie, okay? I want to tell you a story about Jack because it's a good lesson for everybody, okay? Jack bought his first house, and let me tell you, it has been an amazing experience for him, and it's, being from the outside looking in, I mean, it's wonderful, It was it was how do you say it? Seeing him come out of where he's come from, and to finally be able to create his own environment. Me and Jack both lived in apartments together, and apartment living is cool, but it's kind of like communism, like they tell you you do your own breaks, you can't really grow plants on on your patio. You know, they tell you how to live, and I understand that there's pros and cons to all that stuff. You know, just like if you live in a place that has an HOA, or you live really close to your neighbor to the point where like you can hear them arguing. You know, there's pros and cons to all that kind of lifestyle. But you know, Jack, for a very long time pinched his pennies and he got a house. Okay. And man, I've been with him every step of the way going through this. You know, one day he gets a knock on the door, and it was a roofing company. And you know, just like everybody else does, they solicit. You know, they're out there trying to make money. I've had these positions too. You know, unfortunately, some of this stuff is not how do you say? It's not very ethical. You know what I'm saying? They're sharks. There are sharks out there. But anyway, after an entire year of deliberation, okay, you know, I'm coaching him. You know, I'm doing the best that I can with my limited life experience to help the guy, because he's stressing out, man. He's going through like a lot of stuff on top of just, you know, going to work every day. You know, like he's nobody's getting this time back. You know, he is spending hours and countless hours of his life trying to get this thing solved. You know, and the insurance company won't budge, even though, you know, it's like, you know, why does it have to be that, like, you know, your roof is completely destroyed, there's tarps on it, you know, the entire space on the inside is completely unlivable, there's mold, you know, like, why does it have to get to that dilapidated for, you know, for an insurance company to move? You know what I mean? It's like you pay into their in you know, you have to make payments. You pay into their services every fucking month. I mean, it's a lot of money. And you know, and you get these people who are just trying to make their own money. They got mouths to feed too. You know, everybody should be winning. I don't, you know, I'm not really understanding it either, but man, this poor guy, he freaking finally, okay, gets the insurance company to understand, you know, on like a three-way call between him, the insurance company, and the roofing company. Like, hey, this is what's going on. You know, they send out, you know, their own freaking inspector. They rebuttal. You know, I'm telling you, this went on for over a year. Finally, there's movement. So, you know, this Jack gets happy. They finally cut him a check. You know, it's time. Obviously, there's an entropy involved. The entropy is when it's a measurable rate of decay in pretty much all systems. So, like, you know how like every few years they have to repave the roadways. You know, every few years you got to buy a new pair of shoes. You know, it's wear and tear. It happens. It's the same thing with the lifespan on a roof, with anything. You know, so it's like if I was, again, if we bred more people with integrity, more people with a backbone in this country, you know, like it would be like fleet maintenance. It would be like fleet management. You know, like the insurance companies would be calling you like, hey. We noticed that, you know, it's been over 10 years since you've gotten your roof replaced, you know? Are you having any issues? Maybe we can work together, since you're fucking paying us all this fucking money, you know, like, and, you know, you're stewarding this home. Nobody knows nowadays with what's going on if you're even going to be able to live fucking 30 years to pay off a fucking mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's absolutely asinine. You know, but it's like if you had people with integrity who didn't always care, like, all right, it's another thing I've always said to Jack, is like, if when you put money at the center of absolutely everything in life, it fucking takes the life out of life. You know, like, money is cool, it's important. You know, it can be used for like amazing things, but we think that money makes people, and it's the exact opposite. You know, money exists because of people. And the only purpose to money is to be spent. And as people, we are so like dumbed down and dead inside that like we don't even know what is proper to spend it on. Anyway, that's a whole other tangent. But okay, so if we could breed better type of people, just it doesn't even have to be specifically confined to the borders of this country, just better people in general across the world. The insurance companies would be looking at it on a fucking spreadsheet somewhere, and they'd get an alert, and they'd be like, hey, this person's roof, you know what I mean? It's like houses nowadays. I don't know how it is, but back in the day, like growing up, most people lived in the same house. A few generations of people lived in the same house. You know what I mean? It's like you're stewarding this. That's not your money. That might not even be your house in freaking 15 years, even if you pay that shit off. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't understand how we got this far as like a superpower if this is the type of stuff that happens in the world. And it's just like, okay, it's dealt with, you know? It doesn't make, again, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me, and I'm listening to this poor guy deal with these things because he means a lot to me. Like if we didn't have TVs, in every fucking room that we occupy, nobody could be famous. We would all be way more important if we weren't paying attention to the fucking TV all the time. Politicians couldn't be famous. Superstars couldn't be famous. Yeah, you get like one to come into your town, for like a night or whatever. People would be, you'd make people feel good and stuff, but it would not be on the level that it is now. We give way too much energy to people you don't even know. Anyway, again, sorry about the side quest there. Holy shit. So finally, after like so much, like, man, I could just see the stress in this poor guy's face. Like, you wouldn't even believe and I laugh at it. I don't mean to laugh at a circumstance because, like, nobody really knows what that's like. Because again, we don't teach people how to deal with this shit. You know what I mean? Like everybody just goes in blind. Like me personally, like I never thought I would make it as far as I did in life. But like while I'm here, my job is to to learn. My entire life really is just a big experiment. I'm not roping anybody else into it while I'm here still trying to figure shit out because I don't know nothing. Like the same laws that apply today can be changed. Like all those people that smoked weed, there's still people locked up for smoking weed and it's fucking legal now. Like, are those people getting that time? Are they getting compensated for that money? Like could you imagine if they just changed, money? Like we spent our entire life fucking spans chasing something, working for something, trading our fucking time for something that can be corrupted and manipulated. Like that is, I'm sorry, like we need to educate people more about the truth, like about stuff like that. The experiences, the long drawn out fucking episodes of just absolute idiocracy. Again, I'm so sorry. Getting back to Jack. So Jack gets cut a check. Okay? So he goes to deposit the check so he can get the stuff going on the repairs on his household. Okay? The bank denies cashing the check or depositing the check. And that's because the house is not paid off. So the insurance company wrote the check out to Jack and the people who hold the mortgage. So, excuse me. Jack then, as another step, had to send the check out to get signed by the mortgage company in order for them to therefore send it back to him and get it deposited into his bank account. Okay, I'm not even joking about this. Okay, it's like conglomerate companies have no problem coordinating with each other about anything. But when it comes to something that you need to do, like everybody just walks around. You go to DMV, anything. Everybody just expects you to have all of your shit in order. You know what I mean? But it's like when it comes to you making a request, hey, you can get fucked. You know what I mean? It's like, again, this is what I'm saying. This man is not getting compensated, is not getting paid, uh, for any of this time or energy. You know, it's a lot of work. So anyway, he goes to try to deposit the check now with his endorsement and the endorsement of the mortgage that holds the company that holds the mortgage on his house. Okay, and like I said, mind you, I am learning. I'm learning from all these experiences because you will wonder why people are so upset. It's not hard to change. It's not. You know what I mean? It's like why couldn't the insurance company, who obviously it's legally obligated that you have home insurance, and you're legally obligated to pay your fucking rent, or you're not going to be able to fucking live where you're living. It's like, why couldn't you guys just coordinate with that shit and make it happen? How fucking hard is that? Anyway, so the bank still denies depositing his check. Okay, I'm not even joking. I'm in the corner of the room listening to this poor guy deal with this stuff. Okay? And he's got kids. I mean, he's got a family. I don't even understand how people do this shit. It's incredible. So, okay. On top of working a full-time job, two at times, okay? Having a kid, having a significant other, okay? He has to fight these other battles. Like it wasn't more time consuming enough. Like there wasn't like there was there's actually enough time in the day for this shit. This can't be the epiphany of human. You know what I'm saying? This can't be the zenith of human experience on the face of this planet. I mean, it's just there's just no way. There's no way that like God created you and expected you to do this with your life. Like this was it. This is it. You know what I mean? Like this is there. It doesn't get any better than this. This is heaven on earth. Like it's insane. Okay. And like this man is trying to be like, he's a very patient dude. You know what I mean? He's respectful. Like it takes a lot to get this guy like out of sorts. It really does. And I'm like I said, I can see it in his face. It's drawn. It's it's incredibly hard to see somebody that you care about in that way. Because like the whole point of I don't want to say the whole point, but a lot of life is, like when you care about somebody, you're supposed to be making their lives easier, happier, better. You know what I mean? And it's like that. That's what I'm saying. Like when you're out there trying to get money, when you work for a company, like that shit is actions speak louder than words. That shit proves to you every single step of the way that they could literally not give a flying 747 fuck about you at all. And I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think it should really be that way. Like we deserve better than that. But anyway, okay, this guy, man, like as patient as you could possibly be. Okay, he gets on the phone and he just tries to explain to these people, that like it's like, how are you gonna deny the check now? I just waited. I waited another 2 weeks to get the thing notarized. I mean, endorsed by the company that runs the mortgage, and now that they have his signature on the back of the check. You know what I'm saying? Any rational person would be like, well, yeah, you know. But no, you got to call them on three-way. You got to explain to them. It's like, what more like do you need? Like you can see the bank account every single month that you are making payments to this mortgage company. This is their endorsement on the back of the check. The check says, uh, you know, uh, you know, distributed to Jack and the mortgage company. You know, it's like, and then finally, finally, after like over a year, I don't know, I'd say like over a year and 3 months, finally, uh, he gets the check deposit. You know, of course, you gotta wait business days for it to clear, especially if it's like above a certain amount. So it's like you only have access to like a few thousand, the first few thousand, and then at the end of the week it'll clear. I mean, it's just so yeah, you had to wait another week after all that deliberation. Okay, and I didn't. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to mention the one thing that happened. Like in between, okay, in between that year of deliberation. Okay, yeah, that was the one thing that set it off. This poor guy, right? They actually ended up canceling the insurance on his home. Okay, and if that's not an admission to guilt, I don't know what is. So it's like they're telling him that the roofing company, the professionals, the people who are trying to like do the roofs, it's like you have all of the information laid out to you. The when the roof was last replaced, how many storms it's been through. They came out, they took samples, they had architects and engineers from both sides, both companies come, and you so after all that shit, after him paying all of that money, they freaking drop his coverage. Can you fucking believe that? So I don't know if you're wrapping your head around this, but like when they drop your coverage, it makes it difficult for somebody else, for another company to take you on as a customer. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense to you? Like if you get dropped from insurance for some reason, chances are your next insurance, whoever decides to take up the insurance on anything, it could be a car or your house or whatever, like it is going to be like very probably way more expensive, most likely. It's like, and the reason that they did that to him was because A, they have no fucking integrity and they don't care, and B is because they just did not want. It's like, how many fucking yachts do you need? Like I don't understand like what possesses people to do these things to other people. You're not supposed to be that way towards other people, a stumbling block to other people. You know? Like what on earth possessed them to be like, oh well, after like freaking 8 months of deliberation, we already done. It's like you have all this information laid out, and you just send them a letter saying you're canceling the fucking insurance. And like I said, he was sweating, man. He was very, he just considered getting a lawyer. He's not an overly wealthy person, but I mean, you know, I mean, for somebody who's wealthy, getting a lawyer is really not that big of a deal. But, you know, thankfully, like I said, after more pushback from the roofing company, and providing these very obvious things as far as like facts pertaining to the roof on the house, like, like, and just listening to this poor guy try and, talk to people like people, with respect and dignity, like, like again, why does it have to be to a point where it is so dilapidated that him and his family can't even live in the home in order for somebody to do something about it? Like that is, well, obviously, it's the greatest, richest, most profitable country in the fucking face of history in the world. Obviously, I mean, that must be self-explanatory. It has to be. Like, what you would only expect that from a fucking, a country of fucking schmucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy out there. It is absolutely crazy. And yeah, so like I said, that was a little backtrack, okay? So where I was saying, he finally gets the check, okay? Finally gets the check. Now, that check is not his money. That's not the roofing company's money. That's not his money. That is and he, like I said, he's a very responsible man. You know what I mean? In my opinion, he was raised right. I grew up with him. He's nobody's perfect, but he means well. That's the thing. Holy shit, man. So, and he called me up. He's like, yeah, you're not going to believe this. And I guess another thing that's, maybe I'm a little too cynical, but it's like, I would believe it. Anytime somebody calls you up with that, I mean, it's so skewed to one side. Never is it like, Joey won the lottery. Anthony freaking, you know what I mean? Anthony got a freaking his dream car, or something. It's always skewed to like the wrong side. It's always bad shit. Always. Why do you think that is? Anyway, calls me up. Hey, listen. After all that, you would not believe what's going on now. Okay, and like I said, and this is where I started to get a little skeptical, about things, because. He calls me and explains to me, okay, yeah, we recap the whole story just like I did with you just now. Okay, and he goes to me, he goes, over an entire year of my life, man, like countless hours, like if he was a lawyer and he could bill himself, like if you did like an exercise, like if you actually paid attention to how much time, energy, and resources that you actually had to put into this situation just to get one thing moved in one in a direction, like you'd be a millionaire, man. It's insane. Anyway, so he calls me up. You would not believe what happened. What's happening now? I'm like, oh yeah, I would. I'm a sarcastic person, not to be like overly sarcastic, but I'm like, yeah, I absolutely would, dude. Just fucking tell me, lay it on me, And he's like, man, he's like, I gave him the down payment. I gave the roofing company the down payment. Okay, everything was cool. We shook hands. Finally, man, finally, me and my wife are gonna sleep better. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna have to worry about this. Finally, it has finally come to a close. And he asked the roofing company for one request. He goes, he's like, listen, you guys you already cashed a check. Again, this check took over a 1 year and a few months to obtain. Okay, after all that. He freaking put the down payment, and that's what the roofing company told him. He's like, we require half now for materials to lock you in to do the work. Okay, and yeah, that's what he did. Sure, no problem. Again, it's not his money. It's not the roofing company's money. This is money that he's been paying into through an insurance company. Okay? That's like every month when you pay your car insurance, okay? If something goes wrong, those motherfuckers are supposed to be there like a bank account to fucking get your ass out of that situation so you can keep moving forward and doing better. That's why you pay into this shit. Not a stumbling block, not like a fucking get rich quick scheme, not a freaking duping people, not a pyramid scheme, okay? You're paying into that shit so you are covered in case something happens. You can move the fuck on and be there for your family and your future and your community. Period, end of story. That's what it's there for. Insured. He tells me that he asked for proof that the materials on his house were paid for. Okay. And the roofing company said that they cannot give him proof. So like now he's wondering if he has to go through an entire another few months of I hope it doesn't come to that. I really don't for him. It's just like there's just no way. It doesn't matter if it's legal to do any of this shit. Like it's like why would you spend your time on earth conducting yourself this way for money? Like, I don't know. I think we really all should just be looking in the mirror and wondering, like, what the fuck are we really paying into? What are we paying attention to? You know, it really does. It hurts me because like I said, I care about this person. You know, and not only that, but like I understand why people are just fucking assholes everywhere you go. This shit trickles downhill. If you treat everybody like that and there's no repercussions for it, I mean, you get what you get. You know, you don't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way. It's real. I mean, it's really just a matter of personal choice. Like that, nobody has to walk around and fucking treat other people like shit. They really don't. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it takes. It's like, are we that like that brain dead? Like I know it takes a lot of energy to care, but like fuck, come on. You're not even using. You're not. You're. Anyway. So yeah, he's working right now on deliberating with the now roofing company who already cashed the check. Okay, that was given to them to hold his place in line and to buy the materials. And now for whatever reason, for like their internal, you know, what do you call it? You know, their company rules or whatever. You know, the for whatever reason they can't really. It's like, why would you not release that information to somebody? You know, it's like defensive people are often dishonest people. I don't know if anybody's heard that. You know, it's like there's nothing wrong with transparency. You know, like at this point, what the fuck does it matter how much money you're making? You know, it's like if you charge him freaking $10,000 for materials and they only turned out to be 4,000. It doesn't matter. The dude said he took money. You know, most people would have just fucking blown it on something that was, you know what I mean? They don't even have the wherewithal. They don't care enough. It's very hard to care. It takes a lot of energy to care. But it's like, you know, like, it's like tell me how companies can just pretty much operate as like their own sovereign um you know, economies, their own sovereign, um, essentially countries within our within our country. You know, it doesn't. It's like I don't. What does it matter about your internal stuff? Like, just give the guy proof that the money that he just paid to you for materials was used to pay the materials in full. Like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. Anyway, and I really hope, like I said, I hope that you know, by listening to this, if you're still listening, that you understand, you know, that this helps you further along the way. Like so we did research together. You know, we asked AI and stuff. You know, so the plan of action now is for him to get a signed lien waiver. Okay, because for whatever reason there's a law. I don't even know why the homeowner would be responsible, other than, like I said, it's not his money. You know what I mean? It's money that the insurance company gave to him. Again, that actually it is his money that he paid into the insurance industry, the insurance pool, which like everybody is obligated to by law. Okay, and it's like, and then if that's obligated by law, how the fuck are you gonna have a law saying that if a contractor or a supplier can put a lien on the home if the materials are not paid for? It's like, don't you just think like that's just a little too fucking convenient, you know, for people to just get fucked all the time? Like, doesn't like, how does that, you know? It's anyway. So that's what he's working on right now. And you know, like like I said, I was just in the middle of talking with him and trying to help him with this. And I'm like, dude, this is like a learning experience. People, they should be teaching people this stuff in school. They should be teaching you how to patch your own fucking drywall. They should be teaching you how to lay your own tile, how to live properly. Like, fuck, man. Like there's absolutely no. Anyway, like I said, it frustrates me because I have goals. Like I would like to be more like Jack one day. I don't know if it ever will happen. I feel like I'm just too stained. Like I don't even want to be part of humanity as much as I already have to be. You know what I mean? It's like while I'm here, I'm gonna do the best that I can because I'm here. But like the fantasy of me like wanting a family and stuff, it's like I'm never doing any of that shit unless I am so rich that I do not give a fuck about this shit. I will pay for that shit on my own dime and not have to deal with your schmucks trying to fucking take shit off the top for actually without having to work for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's so frustrating. You know what I mean? But like I said, there is a silver lining. Like people can learn from other people. Doesn't matter if they're fools or kings. If you listen, and you keep your eyes open and you have a hunger for knowledge, like you can learn from the stuff. Even though again, the laws can change. They could get hip to it right now, and then they'll just freaking sign a new fucking law that finds another way for them to fucking fuck us further. It just like I said, it's absolutely baffling to me. Again, you know what I mean? That like people just walk around with their fucking chest puffed out. We're the greatest. We're the fucking richest in all of history and all the land on the face of this goddamn fucking rock. Like we are the most. Like no, there's no fucking way that your populace has to operate under these parameters and protocols, and you are like. And you even think to call yourself, with that level of pride and arrogance. The world honestly cannot afford that much more arrogance. But yeah, I don't know. That is my long, drawn out story about Jack. And if you believe in something deeper than just material, I hope that you please pray for his family. And pray for a more how do you say suitable outcome, for everybody in the near future. Because like I said, if we don't just start learning from our mistakes, if we don't start understanding what the mechanics, the points of leverage that like it's. Like I said, we are just me personally. I'm not. I'm not fucking anybody that I can't trust, I'm not just roping another generation into this foolishness, for my own short-term gratification or pleasure, it has nothing to do with that. Like there's way bigger, higher level that needs to be adjusted here. And yeah. Like I said, Jack's a good dude, So yeah, I hope you can understand and learn from a little bit of Jack's story. And if I feel it's necessary, I'll just give you the later updates or whatever, But whew, like I say, I got work tomorrow. Got to go out and work tomorrow. God bless you and your family, and please be good to yourselves and the people around you, all right? Vaya con Dios.